Hey, what's going on, guys? It's me, Aiden, from Cartoon Apocalypse, and welcome back to Turner Tuesday. Now, this week, this stream was about biomes, and basically, we collected a bunch of ideas from the Discord and shared them as to sort of what we would like to see in a biome. So that's really all it is for this video, is just a collection of me reading off ideas that you guys sent in. As far as what we're going to be doing next week, we are going to be doing side characters, taking a little break from world building, but I think it's a well-deserved break. So make sure to comment your ideas for side characters for classmates, for Luna or Nico, or maybe parents for Luna or Nico, or close friends, etc. So yeah, go ahead and do that in the Discord, and you can find the link down in the description below. But yeah, let's just go and hop right into this video. So this first one is the glowing mushroom fields. The glowing mushroom fields, this biome is rare. That's what they say, mushroom biomes are rare. The second picture is actually the background of the sky. It's like a mushroom field, but these mushrooms are huge and they glow. Better wear your sunglasses because the mushrooms are like giant light bulbs. Do they have sunglasses in Ilaria? That's interesting. Okay, so this next one doesn't have a name or description, it's just this cool photo, which I think is really cool, because since having Ilaria just basically be islands sort of limits what we can do, because it's not like you can have like super deep stuff, although you can. Like the islands are going to be really big, but like this, it's like, well, it sort of gives the illusion like there's nothing there, but obviously there's some sort of ground eventually. So we could definitely do something like this. I don't know, because when we were talking about maybe the islands and stuff, some people were like, well, should the islands be separated by like magic ability? Like there's gonna be a earth island and a fire island, and I think, didn't we decide against that? Oh, yeah, no magic specific islands, okay. But I do think there should be like areas on specific islands that are formatted, or maybe make for a better location to where specific users can train. So for example, an earth magic user could go to this location, and since it's like really weird and rugged, and like maybe you'd have to like climb up, like maybe you go down to the bottom of one of these pillars and you have to like climb up using your earth magic or something. Oh, okay, so here's another mushroom one. A place where it's constantly night. Oh yeah, that one, okay. The plants in this biome are large and cover everything, not letting any sun shine through. Slumber shrooms and chrysanthos trees are very common here, and animals not accustomed to this biome can easily be killed after falling asleep. Yeah, okay, so this is like a combination between this one and this one. So maybe there's sort of the same biome, but there's like different sub biomes within the main biome, and it could be the same kind of idea. It's just, you know, there is a distinction between like this is the one with the chrysanthos and the slumber shrooms, and then this other one has these other mushrooms or something. I don't know. There's a lot of flexibility that we can do with this. So this next one is a biome with many pink lakes. There are also sea caves, beach episode. Yeah, well, I don't know. It depends on the rating that we give this. There can still definitely be a beach episode. It just won't be probably the beach episode that a lot of us expect, I suppose. So next one is a volcanic field, a place where lots of magma, igneous rocks, and volcanoes can be found. Tons that live near or in the volcanic fields have hot springs for everyone to relax. Hot springs episode. Yeah, well, okay, that one's gonna be a lot harder to justify. Okay, a tundra biome. So this is sort of where that, like, maybe where the snow foxes, whatever they were called, would live, and maybe a more tundra biome. A field full of firegrass, although would that constitute as a biome? Is like the firegrass field a biome, or is that just like a naturally occurring field that sometimes happens? Better to be random field so people walk through it in this place. Yeah, sub-biome. Okay. Flower hills. We can definitely do something with that. We're gonna have to, well, maybe, depending on how unique and creative we're feeling, we might want to make just a bunch of random cool flowers, but you don't necessarily have to. Or we could just come up with a bunch of like random names, find a random name generator, and then that'll be fine. Then we could just make the flowers look like any other flowers. Okay, a biome with many ravines that were formed before the islands came off the surface. Wait, so is there lore to where the islands originally weren't floating? Did the volatile have to be activated? I wonder what the lore behind that is. I want to know, like, the story behind, like, logically thinking it through how that would happen. You know, like, did the Volatite just, or maybe maybe it was like when, like, Ilaria is based off of, like, Ilaria is like a creature, kind of, right? So maybe the creature was awakened or born or something, and that's when they started flowing, because the core started, like, repelling the Volatite. Like, the Volatite came to Ilaria from space, because Ilaria's field of magic is repelled by Volatite, so it doesn't make sense that it would be there naturally. Okay, fair enough. Okay, this one, I don't even know what this is, but it's pretty cool. It's like a frozen lake, sorta. This biome has an affinity for earth magic. Because of this, all the plants are severely overgrown. I think this is super cool. Okay. A mountain range where one side has trees and leaves colored with warm colors, and one side has trees colored with cool colors, and a lake in the middle of the two mountains. Interesting. That's an interesting idea. That would look pretty cool. Okay, waterfalls. Waterfalls are going to be cool. I love waterfalls, and, like, I just don't know how we're going to do the waterfalls off the edge of Ilaria islands, because, like, are they going to be a continuous stream, or are they going to be are the islands so far up to where it's like they just spread out so far it's like it disappears from existence? I don't know. I feel like we asked that question a couple streams ago. I don't know what this one is, but it sort of looks like the cherry blossom biome, sorta, although it's more than, I was thinking like a super pink, like pink grass, pink trees, pink water, but maybe that's a little bit much. The fire biome, the fire lands, has been subject to tremendous battle and warfare over the years. Come on, guys, why are we always associating fire with, like, war? That's not nice. Leaving most of the land barren and bare. Where the islands were once covered in lush greenery, only rock and stone remained. Chaotic nature of its history, birthing volcanoes and rivers and bubbling lava. Ilaria itself fighting back against its inhabitants. Only those who wielded fire magic remained on the island, crafting... Okay. Question. Is this... This sort of feels like it's separating the fire people, which is sort of what we were going against. I mean, we can still do something with the... We can still make a fire biome. I have nothing against, like, element-specific biomes. I just don't want an entire island to be specific on a singular element, you know? So this wouldn't necessarily be on the entire island, maybe just the biome, wherever it may be. Crafting jewelry and weaponry from the volcanic rock. Their natural resistance to heat protected them from most of the island's perils, though it was not uncommon to see scars from old burns on children and adults alike. New plants began to grow. At first, they survived off of the residual magic energy left behind, but soon the fire wielders began to harvest and grow them as crops. The landscape would never recover from its former beauty, but it would not remain empty and hopeless either. It made an excellent battleground since it was uninhabited. Now it is known for its clear sunsets, since the land is so flat and unobscured by vegetation or buildings. It isn't seen as a great tourist spot since it's so unbearably hot and there is very little accommodation for travelers. The animals, plants, and humanoids who live there are seen as quite intense and hardened since the conditions are so extreme. Tales and stories are often exaggerated. Sometimes, you guys need to capitalize the starting of your sentence, guys. Sometimes the myths and legends surrounding the area are used as anecdotes to scare children into behaving, or as a warning to others to stay aware. To stay aware? Stay away? Come on, guys. Capital letters. Capital letters. The whole place is quite far from the king's reach, a safe haven for those who run from King Nadia. Star Crashed Valley. It is where groups of stars have crashed from space into a field and make a valley of bright glowing stars. Sometimes the trees and bushes can grow on them, making really cool space trees or something. These biomes would be great for space magic users. Okay, that's pretty cool. Although I like the story, but the whole like concept, like thinking about a star logically falling down doesn't make too much sense because stars are huge, like humongous, plus they're like gas. So doesn't really work. If a star were to collide with Earth, we would be swallowed up in an instant. So yeah, that wouldn't really work. But I like the idea, and there could be like these star-like things. Although, how do you explain that? It's like, well, whenever this happens, it always lands in this one specific spot. Like, how do you explain that? Like, there has to be some sort of reasoning for why these stars specifically only land in this one location, right? Be a fantasy thing? Well, yeah, it could be, but there's no like logical explanation behind it. So like, it would have to be like, well, maybe the magnetic pole of this one side, which doesn't make sense if it's a sphere and it has to rotate and stuff like that. Depends on how far we want to take that. But like, maybe it's attracting the stars, or maybe it's like the stars are just plants and it looks like they've come from outer space, and that's like the fairy tale story. And it's like, hey, this is just a thing that, you know, we say has happened. They're actually just plants, but like, it's a fun, cool story to say. And then if it was just like, that would make for a good place to put the moon trees. Are those ones the chrysanthos? Since part of space magic is magnetic manipulation, if this biome has an affinity for space magic, it would make sense that way. Good point. Good point. That's a good one. What if it's a field of fallen meteors instead? That makes more sense. I think I like the meteors. Like, there's just a bunch of fallen meteors on there, but those meteors maybe like gave birth to star-looking life, and it's just, you know, a coincidence that it happened that way. And then like the chrysanthos trees could be like a plant from another galaxy or whatever. Frozen wastelands, a very cold biome that is mostly made of ice. There's almost always a constant blizzard. Almost all the plant life is left over from thousands of years ago. Most of it is dead now. This biome is very far away from the sun, so it is very dark most of the day. I like that. I love snowy biomes. Volcanic isles, floating clusters of volcanic rock. These islands are incredibly small, so they are very unstable. Too much or too little mass can make them sink or float easily. The air is very humid around this biome, and there's often Timecode around us. I like that. So it's like you know how there's like the main islands, and then there's like the separate like side islands. Like there's just like one separate like island to the side. Maybe actually this could be interesting. Maybe what if this was next to the to that big fire island, right? And so the separated island, that's the volcano. So like this is the volcano, like singular island, and then this is like the other island that's like the fire biome now. And so this one erupted and it landed on this island, causing a huge forest fire, and it basically killed this entire island right here. And so it was all because of this, of this volcanic island. You could tie it together, maybe not. I don't know, but it's an idea, I suppose. Caves with glowing crystals. Okay, I did want to talk about this because I think that could be interesting. I think there should be like, I don't know how to like describe it. Like I have an image in my head. I just don't know how I would go about like explaining it. Okay, so this is the top of the island, right? And then it cones down like this, okay? And so let's say there's like a little hole here. So there's like a cave down here. There's the there's the cave right there. So then you can take like a dragon or something and fly into the cave, and then you can find like volatile crystals poking out, and you can find other resources and minerals there, and it would just be really cool. And then maybe like Luna and Nico could go through there. A ginormous lake. Okay, so it's a lake. It's a field with a lake in it. Okay, and then above that lake, you see flowers just floating above the lake. And there's all kinds of different flowers. There's trees, there's flowers, very interesting flowers. You know, we don't judge in the flower community, okay? And so, you see flowers, and some are like hovering right above the water, and then some are like higher above the water, okay? And then let's say there's a time lapse, okay? And so, let's say this time lapse is over the span of a week, okay? So, the flowers that are touching the water, that are like just floating on the water, over the course of that week, those flowers start to rise. And then the other flowers that are above start to fall into the water. And then this cycle repeats, they go up and down. Okay, so basically the way that the flowers are like floating up and down is they have a bit of volatile inside of them. And so, the way that the volatile works is maybe the way that it works is somehow like the plants got infused with it. I'm not entirely sure how, but they have a tiny bit of volatile, and maybe my envisioning is depending on how much nutrients the plants have. That depends on how much volatile they have in their system, right? And so if they have more nutrients and water, then they develop more volatile, and then like the volatile, I don't know what happens to it. It like escapes them somehow. Maybe it's like sweat, where it like sweats off or something. I don't know. But the plants obviously need water to survive, right? So the plants will just be floating there because they have a small bit of volatile. It's like hardly any. It's enough to make them float a little bit, but like not too much, right? But since they need water to survive, they lose volatile since they're running out of water. So they fall back down, they sit in the lake for a day or two, absorbing more water, and then that causes them to release or create more volatile. And then they start floating, and then they just hover there, and then once they run out of water, they go back down. So that's my idea. Maybe the lake is volatile rich, so when the plants take in the water, they repel against the lake. Oh, that's a better idea. Come on, guys. Why do all my ideas suck? I suppose the plants take in the volatile and flow. Although, but how do you explain that the plants were in the... Well, I suppose you could say the same thing about mine, so never mind. They grow at the bottom of the lake, but since they grow at the bottom of the lake and take in all the volatile, they like shoot up out of the lake. Pink cherry blossoms and lakes, whitish blue grass. Okay, like that. Blue, I don't know about the blue, but definitely the white. The white, I don't know. I'm trying to envision in my head how that would look. Maybe we'll have to see. I'd have to draw that up. Big boulders around a bluish white moss. Okay, and pretty blue sky. White grass would be cool, and I love the cherry blossoms with the pink background. I don't know. We'll have to see. I'd have to like get a drawing of it in order to see. But anyway, guys, that's going to be it for this video. If you did enjoy, you can leave a like and subscribe for more content similar to this, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.